In this lesson we're going to look at In the Pocket, which is on page 12 of the grade 1 book. We're going to break down all the different tricky parts, which I want you to practice separately, and then we're going to try and put everything together, okay? Starting with the intro fill. I'm going to say it first. These two, a T on those two, and then coffee, lemonade, coffee, lemonade. So it goes like this. Don't forget the crotchet rest. So, rest. That second bar should be self-explanatory. It's just crash, 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 snare. So, 2, 3, 4, rest. Try and practice that bit so you can do it 8 times in a row, no mistakes before you move on to the next bit. Here's the next bit, okay? This is the second line, and it's the second bar of the second line. The main groove. Bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, and bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, and. Remember to say it before you play it, and then try saying it while you play it. So bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, and bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, and. This is t, t, just the hi-hats on its own. Okay? So we're gonna we'll play that one more time. Listen. 2, 3, 4. Okay. On to line 3. It's a very similar groove, but it's got an extra bass drum on the end. Have a listen to this. So bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, bass. Try saying it before you play it. Bass and snare, t, t, bass, snare, bass. Okay? So that time I've played the first 2 bars of the third line, and if you look, it's got a little number 1 above the second bar, which means that the first time you play this section, you play that bar. But if you look, there's a couple of little dots and 2 lines, which means that after the fill, you're supposed to repeat those 4 bars. So the first time you play this, and then on the second time, on the second repeat, you play this. Bass and snare and bass, bass, snare and crash, okay? So let's listen to the whole first half of the piece with the first and second time repeats in, okay? I'm going to call out when we repeat. If you're at the point where you can play it, then try and play along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Repeat. So that's the whole first half of In the Pocket. Now we're going to look at the second half, okay? Line 4, we're going to say it first of all. Bass and the snare, ride, bass, snare, and bass and the snare, ride, bass, snare, and bass and the snare, ride, bass, snare, bass, bass, coffee, lemonade. So try and say it with that bit that I've just said. Try and practice saying it along, and then try saying it while you play it, okay? So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4th line, sorted, okay? Remember, if you want to practice or go over everything, just pull the video back and make sure that you can practice each section 8 times before you move on to the next bit, okay? So we're going to look at line 5 now of In the Pocket. It's a groove you already know from earlier on in the piece. It goes bass and snare, tut tut, bass snare, and then you've got a bass and snare and lemonade, lemonade. And then the next bar is the bass and snare, tut tut, bass snare and groove, followed by another bar that you should already know, which is this. Now if you look at line 5, there's a little number 11, which means it's the 11th bar. We're going to play from line 5 up until that crash, okay? So as I say, practice each bit separately and then try and play this bit with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the very last bit should be fairly straightforward. The last 2 bars, bass and bass and bass and bass and fizzy water. Okay, I'm going to play through the last 3 bars, so the second half of In the Pocket. Here we go. Try and play along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. So if you practice all those bits separately and then try and put it together, then you can try and play along with the performance video, where you can try playing along without the music and with the music. Okay, good luck.